Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nobody SMP. Am I going to? I don't want to do it. If you missed last episode, we ended up finding out that they changed Pickens. Pickens? Pigs. Pigs is what they changed. They changed pigs, and we built up our nice little farm over here. And this guy's still dancing crazy, and we did this nice little pig farm for all the gross dripstone pigs. That's what I'm calling them, and the sheep and the chickens. And we put all these trees in here, and blah 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 blah. However, and we got some cows. In today's episode, I said it last time, we're gonna do a lot of just housekeeping. I'm gonna finish the projects that I started. I'm gonna finish them. That's the end of the goal, or that's the goal of this video. We're going to finish a project. We're gonna turn this into a villa. We are going to finish out over here to flatten this out to make it look more like a city kind of apartment buildings here and there. And then we're gonna tear this down and turn that into an apartment building. On top of that, in our nether hub, I don't know, should we go see it? Let's go see it. We are going to finish texturizing and putting a more of a biome in here. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to cover out the floor and do some more little rocks here and there. And then I said when we built this that I wanted to add a kind of like a compass really thing, like like something red is pointing that way for north, and then east and south and west, right? Never east, south. Yeah. And so that's what I want to do. And so I want to clean this up. And then on top of this, I think the last project we need to finish up is we need to start adding more builds over here. I actually did a little off camera. I kind of was just bored one day and just kind of started going with it. I built a sheep farm right here. It has every single color of sheep. And if I do free cam, I can actually show you. I have this all on a hopper clock for when to dispense the wool that gets dropped into here. So it just is like every 10 seconds or something, this goes back and forth and then sends a signal in here to send the wool on its way into this bubble vader. And I also hooked up an auto crafter right here to our bone mill. It's still working. It hasn't even made it all the way through this one, but it's working its way through here, and then it gets shot down. Can we see it real quick? I don't know if we can. Oh, jeez Louise. Okay, hold on. We're gonna get rid of this. Okay, watch. It should click over right now. There you go. Okay, so that actually does it faster than it can. That's interesting. Okay. Well, anyway, we set up this nice little tunnel just like this and just did some waterways and sent it all the way over here to the storage system. Also, wool, I should have not done this because it does not work whatsoever. Wool does not get sorted right in the sorting system. So over here, the bone block is getting sorted, right? So the bones block is getting sorted nice, but if I go up here to the storage system, so every single one of them should look like this: 41 and just a filler block, right? Same thing over here, kelp, and there 41 kelp and then a filler block. Wool, you can't do that because there's so many, and I didn't want to waste an entire thing, so I don't really know the best way to start storing wool because it kind of seems like these 5 colors will go into there, and then anything that's not one of those 5 colors goes into this other one, right? So just like that. So I kind of just am thinking these two will be wool until they break. And then, yeah, I think we already showed that we have that on an auto crafter that is building blocks. And what is this right here? Oh, this was just filler stuff. This is spruce. And then over here, we're also going to hook up the shulker farm into this storage system. That I want to start with that. I want to start with that and see how far we get because I don't know how much, I don't know how long this episode's going to take to get out. So I'm going to start with that stuff. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the villas because that has been, let's work in a way that it should have been done. Let's start with the villas over here and let's get that going so we can actually say that is one complete build. Then I think we'll be good. And then I think from there we will go to the city, then the nether fortress, and then the storage system. So yeah, let's go start with tearing all of this down and making this more of a beach resort kind of with the villas and stuff. Well, that was a massive overhaul for the villas. I kind of just started getting. It just got away from me. But let me go show you what I did. Okay, so let's start over. Let's start over here. But I'm gonna try and hide all this stuff up here. So the reason what you saw first was the reason I did all this bamboo like this was because I wanted. Um, you know what? Let's just freak him. I wanted to clearly be able to tell like, oh, this is where the cutoff is, right? This is the backdrop. So what I did is I actually took the trees that we had over there, the palm trees for over there, and I just laid them all out and then I just rotated them. Yeah, just so there was a little bit of a variant, but I just basically rotated them and I made like a wall and then I put the bamboo behind it so it would kind of blend this and the background together. And then in the back here, I actually just built some really tall ones, just really basic, just so the skyline from when you were looking right here wouldn't be just, nothing. So it kind of just blends it all in together. And then we put a path, nothing too crazy, just a simple path, just going to and from all the villas. And it's obviously everything is sand. So we overhauled everything that was spruce and then put it into sand. Now, for the actual villas themselves, I actually didn't make this. I'm going to pull it up on my other screen. So these villas are actually made by This Is Doom. I actually found it on Planet Minecraft. I really just loved the look of them and it was like perfect. That's what I want to do. And then I just basically copy and pasted them, but I ended up changing the concrete powder in all of them and the wool to different colors because I wanted them to be separate. I didn't want just, one copy and pasted. So and obviously these two are rotated this way and it's the blue and the orange and these two are rotated and pink and yellow, but I really like the way that it came together. Obviously, if you're coming from here, this is the outside world, and this is the resort that we were talking about. I still have yet to figure out what I want to put out here. Probably just something. I was thinking just little floaties and stuff, and then maybe do a fake net around so it's like everybody has that. How some places in the resorts they have like a netted area in the ocean so sharks and stuff don't get in. So I might just do like a fake net over there real quick, and then just obviously some cool floaties. And I imagine just everybody living here and jumping. This one actually doubles. If you remember where our villagers were for our trading, oh, I put a block there 1 second. This is where our villagers doubled from. Oh wait, oh I forgot to move these 1 second. These ones is where our villagers were. So down here is still where we have our villagers, and we just basically covered over them with just the houses. Interiors are nothing crazy. Just cooking and stoves, and up here is just a nice little balcony to get up to, right? You can see all your friends, and I guess you could jump off the balconies if you wanted to too. Friends that we don't have because this is a solo world. And then back into, wow, this is confusing. Back into here, the bedrooms, they all have, just little decorations. It all came furnished from the This Is Doom, so shout out them. Thank you so much. This was a great villa. I spent a couple hours trying to figure out how to do one. I saw one that had more like thatch roofing, and then I saw the ones that were like apartment buildings, and that's what these ones are. And I really ended up liking how these ones turned out, so I just copied and pasted. And then yeah, so you can kind of see it over here. Like you can't really see past the bamboo, and that's what I wanted. Like you're still in a beach theme, right? It's like, oh, I can't go this way, so that's my wall. And if you follow over here, then eventually once you get off the resort and the villas, then you come into the pier, and this is where all the shopping and stuff is, and where they want you to spend all your money. And then a green screen wall, and then out over here, right, the tiki bar. I still need to make this transition better into beach, but once we have all of this transitioned into beach, then I think that whole resort will be done. And then I want to take the palm trees that we did, and I want to line them up just kind of all right here. I wish I could keep this because I really do like this, so I might just move this back and kind of keeping it like hidden like a cabin in the woods. So yeah, first project done, basically, kind of, because now I still say I want to do all this. But as far as what the villa I wanted to do, I think the villa is good. I really liked how this turned out. So, village are done. The blue one, right? Obviously, that's the one that we use for our villagers. So this entire facade is just built up so we can get to our villagers, which are just in a hole right now. Super fancy. All right, I moved our little, whoa, this is like underwater cave. Anyway, I moved our little, sad funeral. What does it put? Grave for our happy guest just over here. I figured it could also kind of double as like the bar owner's shack. I thought that would kind of be funny. So like, there's just high luxury place, and this is where he lives, right? Just something like a little cabin in the woods. So yeah, I actually thought that was funny, and this could have been like his. I'm not gonna say pet, just his friend. Um, yeah, so I ended up just moving this out over here. And what I think I'm going to do is I actually want to do a quick little transition from the rest of this, beach outline and everything, and getting the rest of this bamboo and stuff in here. So what I'm actually going to do is I need to figure out some way how to transition. So I think what I might do is we start over here. We're going to do one spin, and then by the second one is when it will be transitioned, right? So we're just going to do one spin, and the second one will transition just like that. Nice. Yeah, so basically all we did is was the same process as before. Just basically copy pasted this and then put a. Why is there always I use this to like map out the Lightmatica, and I always forget to get rid of that block. Anyway, yeah, we got the whole thing mapped out now. Oh, I didn't finish the paths. I need to go get more dirt so I can put in paths. Basically, how I do the paths is I just kind of sprinkle random dirt and then go over it with my shovel. But yeah, so I think that's it though for the. Oh, I didn't finish over here. Oh, okay, well, fine. This whole video is about trying to finish finish projects that we haven't finished yet. And so far, I just keep finding more and more to find and do. But I think this is a really good stopping point, because I do think that you can clearly see that is like its own little biome. So the beach front that we started in the very beginning is now officially done, and all of that was used for a main base and a villager. That's kind of sad when you put it into that scope. But let's go work on over here now. The next thing we needed to do was I wanted to expand this all the way out to here to about the end of the river, or at least to the river. And I want to start throwing up some buildings. Well, I don't know yet. I'm going to start over here, and then we'll finish this way. I do know that we're going to flatten this out and then put some like apartment buildings over here. But I want to start over here because this is easier, because I have a lot of dirt to get rid of, more than I already did. And I want to see how far out we can go with this. So one more time lapse. There's going to be a lot of time lapses in this video. We're going to do one more time lapse real quick to fill out this square and get it to the size that we want. Okay, here's the bad thing when you build stuff like this. Oh, hi, kitty. It just look a little kitty. Why does I get a cat over here? Oh, iron. Anyway, here's the bad thing. When you start to build stuff like this, you realize that you want to change everything you've ever done. At least that's what I want to do. So I'm going to fly around and show you the sides real quick, because like I said, well, you know what? Let's just free cam. I said I was going to extend this out, and I did. And then I put this border, and I actually think this border just breaks it up easily. That it's like, okay, this has been put here. This has been, someone built this, right? And it's really competitive. It's really repetitive, and it's nothing special. It's just a border outline of what will be our city, right? So this is going to be our city. Here's the problem with building stuff like this. If you remember, this used to be the end of the road, and it still is the end of the road. But because I built this massive box, basically, and I went through like 6 shulker boxes of dirt. I think I have one left. The problem with doing this is I hate everything this way now. I don't like it. And I have an idea. And I don't know. I'm probably gonna do it because I think it'll look way better than what I currently have. So what I'm gonna do is I actually ended up flipping this to be like, okay, that is in construction and this is in construction. So it doesn't really make sense of like why the road is here, but it will, because I'm gonna build this into being a city. However, I want to get rid of all this. like all of this I want to get rid of, and I want to just kind of sprinkle scaffolding here and there as if it's like, okay, they're trying to expand, but they haven't started yet. And there's one other thing that I want to get rid of. Not necessarily get rid of, but what I want to change about what we have going here. I want to take this entire downtown TCRI Ninja Turtle buildings, even this, right? And the Technodrome. I want to take this whole thing and put it right there in that corner. So I actually have to move. I think it'll look way better if this is like a corner. Whoop, hello? If this is like a corner in the city rather than, out of the mountain. The reason we built it in the mountain in the first place and started this whole project was because this cave was naturally perfect for the Technodrome, right? And I didn't have to do really the back of it. The problem with that is now that I've built out the city necessarily area over there, this would look so much better over there. Like this road doesn't look good. It does not. It does not look natural. It doesn't look like, I don't like the way it flows. Any of it. Like this, that site, no, it's no. Oh, I might have a heart. It's no bueno. I don't like it. So I want to move that whole part of their quote unquote city and move it right over here. And then I can just hide all of this grossness behind those and all the other buildings that we'll do over here. Right? So I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to move. That's going to be next project because we need to finish the projects. This is a new project. That's going to be the next episode, is moving that into here. Or I might just do it at the end of this episode. I don't know. But if you look at this, it's not perfectly, like even and square. This is a little jet out. I want this to be like our construction zone where we have like our construction equipment and vehicles over here. This is where we're storing it. And obviously, I'll detail everything. But I need to end up putting a road in here and kind of laying out the way that we want to do the city. But I still really like that as a skylight, but I think it will look so much better as a skylight right here, right? So it just is dragging our view from being this way to being here, and then you'll see the rest of the city. I want to show you what else I did, though. While I was doing that, I said, I need to take a break. I'm done. Like, I can't do this anymore because it's going to drive me nuts if I don't get it done. From our farm aspect, I put in this nice little bridge. Nothing crazy, just a nice little spruce bridge to go from here to where we now have. You actually saw the time lapse. Actually, I don't know if I put the time lapse in right now. I'm going to do the time lapse right now just so you can see that I did it. We did this nice little, just, we did all the fire. Oh, looks like I forgot a log. We did all the fire and, it burned everything down and then filled this up so it's a little more flat. This is going to be our secondary location for our farm. I think over here we're actually going to have a lumber mill and a silo and like a grain mill kind of thing. Basically, this is where the quote unquote like not factory part of the farms, but how with every farms they got to go somewhere to get the crops. This is where you get all your stuff so you can plant, you can plant stuff. Maybe even a tractor store. Can I put a tractor store out here? I don't think so. I don't think they're that advanced. But yeah, so we also did this. We are going to detail this and turn it into something like this. And I just explained it. Even though they're not completing, we're just doing all the busy work that I didn't want to do because I keep starting new projects here every single episode. The real reason I'm doing all this is because you remember, like, way back in the beginning, way out that way, right behind me, there is a bunch of floating rocks way past here. Not way past, but out there's a bunch of floating rocks. And I want to start I was going to make it Pandora, like, from Avatar. I want to start that project. But I couldn't leave these ones not finished because it was driving me nuts. And I at least feel this one's 100% complete. And then we move all of our storage. Also, we need to finally make storage. Yeah. So I'm putting a wrap on this. This one's done. I want to start Pandora, but I have to finish these. And honestly, I think before we start the Pandora project, we're gonna do this. We're gonna move this over here and fill in the city for next episode as most as we can, and then I think after that we'll be good. I'm probably gonna open up the next episode with a time lapse of me tearing this down and trying to move everything over there, because that's going to look so much better over here. The only bad thing is now I have to finish the back of those builds, and I don't necessarily know if I want to or know how to, because I know how to, but I don't want to. All right, finished out over. Can I fly into this? Nice. I can fly into this. Okay, finished out this section. Got the pathway in and got our nice little hay barn. This is where I imagined all the people would come and get the food for the animals over here. I know that we have hay over there, but it would make sense that, they're coming this way and this is where they're offloading, and then they can come and get some more. That way it's not, just sitting over by the animals. Nice little house. Nothing crazy. Just a nice little storage, and then, no interior. Don't worry about that. And then we got some silos. I was working on gradients a little bit. I found this one online. This one was, it doesn't say who bought it. Mitsuki Akuma is the name of the person who made it. And then I just actually ended up doing the gradients. I thought it was nice to have a little bit of really, really subtle blue, yellow, and pink, right? That's what was the goal, was really subtle blue, yellow, and pink just spread out here. But yeah, and then just simple buildings like that. So I think this side is done, which I could add the trees if I wanted to, but I kind of like them just having over here by the animals. Makes it like its own little unique area. And then this is just the normal everyday stuff. Like this is the stuff that has been lived on and worked on. And then I don't know. I'm just rambling, but I would say I feel like this one is complete, and that is another one done, at least for the meantime. And I'll ignore that. We got the villa. We got all this. We got the expansion of the city and the expansion of the, yeah, see, look, that view's sick. Yeah, that's a sick view. And then the expansion of the farm. And then we made the decision that we are going to completely scrap everything that we've done up to here so far, which is great. I'm fine. It's fine. I didn't spend like 5.5 days on doing this video alone and doing nothing, but whatever. Before I end today's video, I know today has been kind of just a back and forth and a lot of time lapses and stuff, but I this needed to be done. So we'll get the city going, and then Pandora. I really want to work on that Pandora. I'm really excited to see how that challenges me, and as far as building and creating a different type of environment. But I'm really excited for that. So again, sorry these videos take forever. I only get a couple hours a day after work to finish on these videos. So I gotta cram and cram and cram. So, but this has been the Nobody SMP, I think episode whatever number. Thank you so much for watching. My name is CJ3BO. Peace.